Welcome back to the channel, everybody. In today's video, we're going to be nerding out about polishing rocks. Specifically, we're going to be looking at these two things right here. This is an electroplated diamond disc, and this is a fibrous resin disc. And we will be testing these side by side. I have a whole bunch of each one, but before we get to the testing, let's discuss a little bit more over there at the whiteboard. So this right here is an electroplated diamond disc. Essentially, we have synthetically grown diamonds embedded in like a matrix, okay? And this is what that looks like under magnification. Now, I have 80 grit, 180, 260, 360, 600, 1200, and 3000 grit in the diamond. In these resin discs, which is a mixture of coarse diamond or ground up diamond, mixed with resin and placed placed on a disc. I have 220, 325, 600, 1200, and 3000. I want to see which one looks the best. Now, it's important to note that anytime I'm talking about these grits, grit is a form of measurement. Now, if we look at this picture right here, I took all of these photos of my diamond laps at 30 times magnification with the microscope, and you can clearly see that we have some big jumps in the size of diamonds as we go from 80 to 3000, specifically in the 80, 180, and 260 grit range. The lower that grit, the bigger the diamond. If we were to do this same thing with aluminum oxide, silicon carbide, you name it, we'd see very different things, because grit is only in reference to a screen that an object will pass through. So if you have a bunch of diamonds of varying sizes, you could have a stack of screens and drop it in, and it would self-organize into grit. That's essentially what we're looking at here. Grit, micron, any number of measurements like that. So there's not exactly a direct comparison. I took a couple of cabs here, test cabs, and I polished both of them up, 80 grit and 180 grit. But now you can see we have some divergence here. We only have 220 on the resin, and we have 260 on the diamond. So right here, in my right hand, we have 220 grit resin, and we have 260 grit diamond. Well, you're probably looking at that and being like, well, why isn't the diamond shinier than the resin? Good question. That is one of the things I want to find out here. The basics of it would be the diamonds are producing bigger scratches than the resin disc. So I want to find out, once we get to 600, 1200, and 3000 grit resin and diamond, does it matter? Does it make a difference where we're at? Because right here, that 220 resin and that 260 diamond look, well, they look quite different. And these are, of course, from the exact same rock, agate, and your mileage would vary based upon different materials and things like that. This is just meant to be a reference point. So let's do our 325 and 600. The way I do my diamond laps is I have a backer, a little bushing goes in, and I'm using a topper plate. That fits on right there, and we put our nut on. So I'm not using permanently affixed backers like we have with the resin. The green handled one is going to be our diamond. Time for the 600 grit resin. The 600 stage is done. It's a little surprising to see. This right here is the diamond, 600 grit. And this, let's use that light right there. That is the resin 600. And can we even get that light to show? No. Very interesting to see side by side. We got 3 more stages. We're going to do the 1200, 3000, and then head over to cerium oxide and see if that looks any better. 600 went just fine. 1200 did not go fine. And I might have just invalidated some of my own testing, but let's look at these here. So over here is the resin, and here's the diamond. Right? Can you see all those scratches? We're still very, very hazy. And there's some random crazy scratches there. Whereas on the resin, we are looking pretty good. Like there's the window. There's the window. Kind of try to catch that same angle here. Nothing, nothing. And then I dried my 1200 disc. And can you see this here? Do you see? Let's see, can we focus? Can you see the little cometing? There you go. See those little comets? This is a contaminated plate. There we go, you can really see them right there. This is contaminated. So if we look at this under the microscope, we can see some significantly larger diamonds actually. And yeah, this is a contaminated 1200 disc. What to do? I still want to continue with the test, but you can kind of see, anytime you see that kind of large cometing, I'm sorry, I'm making this up as I go. I don't have, there's not a real name for this, but yeah, like that cometing, that is the sign. Yeah, that cometing there, that's the sign of a contaminated disc. Uneven wear, and it looks like a little comet is flying through your lap. I'm gonna roll with it. I'm gonna roll with it, and I'm gonna continue on to 3000 with it and see if that one's contaminated. Because everything was good up to 600. Everything was good. I just finished the 3000, and I gotta say, I'm honestly surprised to see this right here being a 3000 grit diamond finish, and this being a 3000 grit resin finish. I mean, they could not be more different, you know? The side by side, they're just extremely, extremely different. I was able to get out a fair number of scratches, but I'm kind of skipping a step, so I don't know. I don't know if that just kind of throws it all to the wind, but no cometing with my 3000 over there, so just a bad 1200. I'm gonna reach out to High Tech. I'm sure they will replace it. They're a good company. And in the meantime, let's use the carpet wheel and cerium oxide and see if we can't do something to save this guy, because this is clearly a winner right now. This is the 3000 and this is the 1200, and you can see those comets going around, those really large diamonds versus a very even coat there. We'll probably look at these side by side under the microscope, but right now, cerium oxide. This definitely took an interesting turn. The one polished on resin is beautiful in every possible way. We are like a mirror. We're a mirror. That's you right there. But we are a beautiful mirror finish. And even the diamond one, if you ignore the heavy scratches, after the carpet wheel, we are looking quite good. Now, the carpet wheel can only do so much. I would almost say those are like the equivalent of like some 80 grit scratches there. And we'll look at these here in a second. But if I had a proper 1200 disc, I think this has some promise. I think we're kind of good here in a way. Let's switch over to the digital right now. Right here, you're looking at one of the commenting streaks on that 1200 disc. You can see a couple of the bigger dots here on your screen. Right in the middle, you see 3 dots. The one kind of at the lower left of your screen is commenting. The holes that you see are ones that got entirely ripped out. So I believe this is a 1200 grit disc with some 80 grit diamonds. That's about the size of an 80 grit diamond. So definitely a bummer to see. I do think the 3000 is quite good, and if we take our 3000 here, I mean, everything is perfect and uniform in size, and nothing really to speak of. You know, we're really good here. That's a little scratch. That's not a commenting diamond. But if we take an actual 80 grit disc real quick and throw it under here, and we do a little, how about a little readjusting? Maybe not 80, maybe more like some 120 grit diamonds. 80s are really big, as you can see. Yeah, you know, it's a bummer that we have so many commenting diamonds on here, or diamonds that got kind of ripped out. I would maybe say more closer to some 220. Yeah, like those are some tall diamonds that got ripped out here. Look at that. Look at that 1200. We're looking at the 1200 right now, and that is a big, big diamond that had contaminated. That's surprising. Well, bummer. Okay, well, I got some other things that I want to address with this, and then we'll wrap this one up. Well, let's talk about the price of some of these things. The resin discs, these guys here, they're kind of a self-adhesive thing, and it gets its own kind of black acrylic disc, versus the diamond ones can have a master lap that the toppers go on top of. If you were to buy from High Tech Diamond the 600, the 1200, and the 3000 in diamond and resin, the diamond you only need 1 backer, the resin you need 3 backers. The total with 3 backers and the 3 grits in resin, $192. For the diamond, $236, a difference of $44. Now, seeing what I saw with my diamond polished one after the carpet wheel, I'm pretty happy with how that went. I think if I didn't have a contaminated 1200 disc, I think it would have gone really well. We might have to repeat this one in the future. And down in the description box of this video, I will put a note in there about what High Tech Diamond said about this. And I'm almost 100% sure that they're just going to send me a replacement one, as they would everybody else. I'm not getting special treatment here. You know, it's they're pretty good with the customer service. Now, those prices, I'm sure a lot of people are like, those prices are crazy for their resin discs and their, you know, diamond discs. And they are up there. They're definitely on the upper end. There's way cheaper options, and maybe we'll test some of those cheaper options in the future and see how that goes. Well, I hope you found this to be educational and maybe you liked it. If you did, well, you can support this project by heading on over to Patreon. There will be a link down below and probably a link right up there, and you can check out what I have going on over there for some exclusive videos. We do monthly giveaways. We have a group chat going. It's a lot of fun. Go check it out, and thank you so much for watching.